Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. What's stopping you? No, seriously. What's stopping you from being the person you were born to be? You got dreams, right? You got goals. But here's the truth. Dreams without discipline, they're just wishes. And wishes don't come true without. See, everybody wants to be successful until it's time to do what successful people do. Everybody wants to be great, but nobody wants to grind. Let me tell you something. Discipline isn't sexy. It's not glamorous. It's waking up at 5 a.m. when your body's screaming for more sleep. It's hitting the gym when your legs feel like concrete. It's saying no to the party, no to the distractions, and yes to the grind every single day. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You want to lose weight? You want to start that business? You want to graduate with honors? It's not going to happen because you're motivated today. Motivation is good, but motivation fades. You need something stronger. You need discipline. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel today, I'm doing it anyway. Discipline says, I'm tired, but I'm showing up. Discipline says, this is hard, but I'm not quitting. You see, the world doesn't care about your feelings. It rewards results. And results come from consistency. Consistency comes from discipline. Let me be real with you. It's not going to be easy. There will be days you want to give up, days when the pain feels too heavy, when the setbacks seem too big. But that's the moment when you got to dig deep. That's the moment when you look in the mirror and say, I didn't come this far to quit now. Every champion you admire, they weren't born different. They weren't blessed with something you don't have. What they had was discipline. They stayed committed when others gave up. They kept grinding when no one was watching. They mastered themselves before they mastered anything else. So what's it going to be? Are you going to let excuses run your life, or are you going to take control? Are you going to wait for the perfect moment, or are you going to create it? The clock is ticking. Your future is waiting, and the only thing standing between you and your dreams is the discipline to show up day after day, no matter what. Get up, get to work, master self-discipline, and watch how your life transforms. Success is not about motivation. It's about discipline. See, motivation is that spark, that fire you feel when you hear something that moves you, when you see someone achieving greatness and you think, yeah, I want that too. It's that pump you get after watching an inspiring video or hearing a powerful speech. But here's the truth. Motivation fades. It's temporary. It's like a shot of caffeine. It gets you hyped for a little while, but eventually it wears off. And when it does, what's left? What do you have when the excitement dies down, when the crowd stops cheering, when it's just you and your goals staring each other down in the silence of your life? That's where discipline steps in. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's the alarm clock that rings at 5 a.m. and you get out of bed anyway, even though you don't feel like it. It's the commitment to practice, to study, to work when everyone else is out having fun. Discipline is the muscle you build every time you do what you said you would do, not because you feel like it, but because you promised yourself you would. See, motivation will make you start, but discipline will make you finish. And that's the difference between those who dream about success and those who actually achieve it. People love to talk about how motivated they are. I'm motivated to get fit. I'm motivated to start this business. I'm motivated to chase my dreams. But let me tell you something. Motivation without discipline is just a wish. You can be motivated all day long, but if you don't have the discipline to show up every single day and put in the work, that motivation doesn't mean a thing. The world is full of motivated people who never achieved anything because they were waiting to feel like doing the work. But guess what? The people who succeed are always the ones who feel like it. They're the ones who do it, even when they don't. You think the top athletes in the world feel motivated every time they train? You think the most successful entrepreneurs feel excited every time they grind for 12, 14, 16 hours a day? No, they don't always feel motivated, but they're disciplined. They've trained their minds and bodies to show up, to push through the hard days, to keep moving forward no matter what. Because they understand that success isn't about how you feel in the moment, it's about what you do consistently over time. Discipline is about controlling your mind, mastering your emotions, and doing the hard stuff even when every part of you wants to quit. It's easy to work hard when you're excited. It's easy to put in the effort when things are going your way. But what about when life gets tough? What about when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're doubting yourself? That's when discipline separates the winners from the quitters. Because discipline doesn't care about your feelings. Discipline is a decision you make every day to show up, to give your best, to stay committed to your goals no matter what. People always ask, how do you stay motivated? But that's the wrong question. The question is, how do you stay disciplined? Because motivation is fleeting, but discipline is what creates real, lasting success. When you're disciplined, you don't rely on how you feel. You rely on your habits, your routines, your commitment. You build a system that keeps you on track even when motivation disappears. Discipline means doing the work when nobody's watching. It means staying late, getting up early, sacrificing comfort for progress. It means saying no to distractions, no to excuses, no to anything that doesn't serve your goals. Discipline is about being consistent day in and day out, no matter how hard it gets. It's about showing up even when the results aren't immediate, even when you feel like you're not making progress. Because you know that success isn't an overnight thing. It's a slow, steady grind, built one disciplined day at a time. Look, motivation might get you out the door, but discipline is what keeps you running when your legs are burning, when your lungs are screaming, when your mind is telling you to stop. Motivation might get you to start that project, but discipline is what keeps you up late at night, perfecting it, pushing it, making it better. Motivation might get you to set a goal, but discipline is what brings that goal to life. There are going to be days when you don't feel like doing the work. There are going to be days when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you'd rather quit. But those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days that test your discipline. Anybody can work hard when they feel motivated, but it takes real strength to push through when you don't. And that's what discipline is. It's strength, it's resilience. It's the ability to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep showing up no matter what. Success isn't about who's the most talented or who's the most gifted or who's the most motivated. It's about who's the most disciplined. It's about who's willing to do the work day in and day out, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when it feels like nothing's happening. Because success isn't flashy. It's not glamorous. It's not about big dramatic moments. It's about the small, consistent actions you take every single day. It's about the choices you make when no one's watching. It's about the sacrifices you're willing to make for the life you want to live. Discipline is the difference between wanting something and achieving something. It's the bridge between your dreams and your reality. You can talk about your goals all day long, but if you're not disciplined enough to put in the work, they're just words. Discipline turns those words into action. It turns your potential into results. It turns your dreams into your life. So stop waiting for motivation to show up. Stop waiting to feel like doing the work. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline is forever. If you want to succeed, if you want to achieve your goals, if you want to live the life you've always dreamed of, you need to master self-discipline. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about how motivated you are, it's about how disciplined you are. Your habits will take you where your motivation can't. It's easy to feel fired up after hearing an inspiring speech or watching someone succeed and thinking, I can do that too. But that feeling, that motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like waves. One day you wake up ready to conquer the world, and the next day you can't even find the energy to get out of bed. That's where habits come in. Because habits don't care how you feel. Habits don't rely on emotion. Habits are automatic. They are the small, consistent actions you do every day, whether you're excited or not, whether you're motivated or not. See, motivation might get you started, but habits are what keep you going. Habits are the foundation of success. They are the routines, the disciplines, the patterns you build into your life that move you closer to your goals without you even thinking about it. When you have strong habits, you don't need to feel motivated to make progress. You just do the work because it's part of who you are. It's ingrained in your daily life. It becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth or tying your shoes. You don't have to hype yourself up to do it. You just do it because it's a habit. Think about it. The most successful people in the world aren't successful because they're always motivated. They're successful because they've built habits that support their goals. They've created systems and routines that keep them on track even when they don't feel like it. Whether it's waking up early to train, sticking to a strict schedule, or consistently practicing their craft, their success is rooted in their habits. not in fleeting bursts of motivation. Habits are powerful because they create momentum. When you do something repeatedly, it becomes easier over time. Your brain starts to recognize the pattern, and it takes less effort to do the task. What once felt hard becomes second nature, and that's the beauty of habits. They make the hard stuff easier over time. But it's not just about making things easier, it's about making progress inevitable. When you have good habits in place, progress becomes automatic. You don't have to rely on willpower or motivation to move forward. Your habits do the heavy lifting. But here's the thing, habits work both ways. Good habits will take you to success, but bad habits will drag you down. If you've got habits of procrastination, laziness, or making excuses, those will shape your life just as much as positive habits will. Your habits define you. They determine the direction of your life. You can have all the dreams and goals in the world, but if your habits don't align with those goals, you're never going to get there. It's easy to say you want to be successful. It's easy to dream big. But what do your habits say? Are you waking up early to work on your goals? Or are you hitting snooze and sleeping in? Are you putting in the time to learn, to grow, to improve? Or are you wasting hours scrolling through your phone, binge watching TV, or doing things that don't serve your purpose? Your habits are the real reflection of your commitment to success. They tell the truth about how serious you are. Habits are built through repetition. It's about doing the same thing over and over until it becomes a part of you. It's not about making huge dramatic changes overnight. It's about small, consistent actions that add up over time. You don't get fit by going to the gym once when you feel motivated. You get fit by showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. You don't become successful by working hard when you're inspired. You become successful by putting in the work day after day, no matter how you feel. The key is to focus on building the right habits, the ones that move you closer to your goals. And that starts with self-awareness. You have to take an honest look at your life and ask yourself, what habits do I have that are holding me back? What habits do I need to build to get where I want to go? It's not easy. Changing habits takes time, effort, and patience, but it's worth it. Because once you build the right habits, success becomes inevitable. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. You can set all the goals you want, but if your habits don't support those goals, you're never going to reach them. Success isn't about setting big goals and hoping for the best. It's about building habits that align with your goals and sticking to them every single day. It's about showing up, doing the work, and trusting the process. When you focus on habits, you take the pressure off motivation. You don't have to wake up every day and feel excited to work on your goals. You just have to show up and follow your routine. That's the power of habits. They create consistency. And consistency is what leads to results. It's not about doing something perfectly once in a while. It's about doing it consistently over time. Think about any skill or achievement in your life. Whether it's learning to play an instrument, getting good at a sport, or mastering a subject in school, it all comes down to practice and repetition. You didn't get good at it because you were motivated every day. You got good at it because you practiced regularly, even when you didn't feel like it. That's how success works in every area of life. It's about building habits that support your growth and sticking to them no matter what. But here's the challenge. Building new habits isn't easy. It takes effort, discipline, and commitment. It's uncomfortable at first because you're breaking old patterns and creating new ones. Your brain resists change because it likes what's familiar. But if you push through that initial discomfort, it gets easier over time. The more you repeat the behavior, the more natural it becomes. Eventually it becomes part of who you are. It's important to start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Focus on one habit at a time. Make it manageable and sustainable. If you want to get fit, start by committing to 10 minutes of exercise a day. If you want to read more, start with just a few pages a day. The key is consistency. It's not about how much you do, it's about doing it regularly. Once the habit is established, you can build on it and increase the intensity. Another important thing is to create an environment that supports your habits. Surround yourself with people who encourage you and hold you accountable. Remove distractions and temptations that pull you away from your goals. Set reminders, create routines, and track your progress. The easier you make it to stick to your habits, the more likely you are to succeed. Your habits are your foundation. They shape your identity, your mindset, and your future. When you build habits that align with your goals, success becomes a natural outcome. You don't have to rely on motivation because your habits carry you forward. They become the engine that drives your progress. Every small action you take, every habit you build compounds over time and leads to big results. Pain is temporary, but regret lasts forever. That's the truth most people don't want to face. Pain is uncomfortable. It's hard. It pushes you to your limits. It makes you question yourself. But here's the thing about pain. It doesn't last. It's a moment, a phase, a season. It comes, it challenges you, and then it goes. But regret sticks with you. Regret is the weight you carry when you didn't push hard enough, when you gave up too soon, when you let fear or laziness hold you back from chasing your dreams. Pain fades, but regret echoes in your mind for years. Sometimes for the rest of your life. Think about that workout you skipped because it felt too hard. Think about that opportunity you passed up because you were scared of failing. Think about the goals you set but never followed through on because the process was painful. At the time, avoiding that pain felt like relief. But later, when you look back, what do you feel? You don't remember the temporary discomfort. You remember the regret of not pushing through. You remember what you could have achieved if you just embraced the pain for a little while longer. Pain is part of growth. It's a sign that you're stretching beyond your comfort zone, that you're pushing yourself to become better. Whether it's physical pain from training your body, mental pain from challenging your mind, or emotional pain from facing your fears, it's all part of the process. Pain is the price you pay for progress. It's the cost of leveling up. And the truth is, you're going to feel pain one way or another. You can choose the pain of discipline, the pain of hard work, the pain of sacrifice, or you can choose the pain of regret. But make no mistake, one of them is coming. The pain of discipline is tough, no doubt. Waking up early when you'd rather sleep in, saying no to distractions when your friends are out having fun, pushing through exhaustion when your body is screaming at you to stop, that's not easy. But that pain is temporary. It lasts for a moment, an hour, maybe a few days or weeks. And on the other side of that pain is growth, strength, success. You come out stronger, more resilient, more confident. But the pain of regret, that lingers. That's the pain of looking back and knowing you could have done more, that you let fear or discomfort hold you back from your full potential. Regret doesn't just fade away. It sits with you. It whispers in your ear when you're alone. It shows up when you see others achieving what you once dreamed of. It haunts you when you realize the only thing standing between you and your goals was your unwillingness to endure a little pain. And the worst part, you can't go back. You can't rewind time and choose differently. That's why regret is heavier than pain. Pain is temporary, it teaches, it strengthens, and then it passes. But regret is a constant reminder of what could have been. When you're in the middle of the grind, when the pain feels overwhelming, you have to remind yourself why you started. You have to remember that the pain is part of the process. It's shaping you, molding you into the person you need to be to achieve your goals. Every challenge, every setback, every uncomfortable moment is building your resilience. It's testing your commitment. It's asking, how bad do you want it? And if you can push through that pain, if you can embrace it instead of running from it, you'll find that it's temporary. But if you quit, if you give up because it's hard, you'll be left with the pain of regret, and that lasts far longer. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who never feel pain. They're the ones who push through it. They're the ones who understand that pain is temporary, but the rewards on the other side are worth it. They know that every moment of discomfort is an investment in their future. They're willing to suffer a little now to succeed later because they understand the alternative. Living a life of what ifs and could have beens is far worse. You've got to decide which pain you're willing to endure. The pain of hard work, sacrifice, and discipline, or the pain of regret, disappointment, and missed opportunities. Because there's no escaping pain entirely. Life is going to challenge you either way. But one type of pain leads to growth and success, while the other leads to frustration and unfulfilled potential. When you're faced with a tough decision, when you're tempted to take the easy way out, ask yourself, will I regret this later? Will you look back and wish you'd pushed a little harder, stayed a little longer, fought a little more? Because in the moment, quitting might feel like relief, but in the long run, it's regret that you'll have to live with. And that's a much heavier burden. Pain is part of every journey worth taking. Whether you're chasing a career, building a business, pursuing a passion, or working on personal growth, there will be moments when it hurts. Moments when you're tired, frustrated, and ready to give up. But those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments when you decide whether you're going to push through the temporary pain or settle for a lifetime of wondering what could have been. The truth is, nothing worth having comes without struggle. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But it's the pain, the struggle, the grind that makes the success meaningful. You appreciate the victory more when you fought hard to achieve it. You value the results when you know what it took to get there. And that's why pain is temporary. It's a stepping stone on the path to something greater. The next time you're in the middle of a challenge, remember that the pain you're feeling isn't permanent. It's not going to last forever. But if you quit now, the regret will. You'll carry that regret with you, wondering what could have happened if you just kept going a little longer. And that's a pain that doesn't go away easily. You have the power to choose. You can choose to endure the temporary discomfort, knowing it's shaping you into a stronger, better version of yourself, or you can choose to avoid the pain and face the long-term consequences of regret. But know this, avoiding pain in the short term doesn't mean you're escaping it entirely. It just means you're trading one kind of pain for another. And the pain of regret is far more lasting and damaging than the pain of hard work and perseverance. Pain tests your limits, but it also reveals your strength. It shows you what you're capable of when you push beyond your comfort zone. It teaches you resilience, determination, and grit. And once you face pain and come out the other side, you realize it wasn't as permanent as it felt in the moment. But if you let fear of pain control you, if you let it stop you from chasing your goals, you'll be left with the kind of pain that doesn't go away, the pain of knowing you gave up on yourself. The choice is yours. You can embrace the temporary pain, knowing it's leading to growth and success, or you can avoid it and live with the regret of never knowing what you could have achieved. Pain is part of the process, but regret is the cost of quitting. And only you can decide which one you're willing to endure. You don't have to feel like it, you just have to do it. That's the difference between people who achieve their goals and those who fall short. Too many people wait for the perfect moment, for that magical feeling of motivation to strike before they take action. They think success comes when you're inspired, when everything feels right, when the mood is perfect. But the truth is that moment rarely comes. If you're waiting to feel like doing the work, you'll be waiting forever. Success isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do, regardless of how you feel. The people who get up at 5 a.m. to work out, they don't always feel like it. The entrepreneurs who grind through long hours building their businesses, they don't always feel excited about it. The students who ace their exams, the artists who create masterpieces, the athletes who win championships, they don't all wake up every day feeling motivated. But they show up anyway. They do the work because they're committed to the process, not because they feel like it in the moment. They've learned that feelings are temporary, but actions are what create results. There's this misconception that successful people are constantly driven by passion and motivation, that they wake up every day excited to tackle their goals, energized to push through challenges, but that's not reality. Even the most successful people have days when they're tired, uninspired, or just plain don't want to do the work. But they don't let those feelings dictate their actions. They've built the discipline to act. Regardless of how they feel, they understand that waiting for motivation is a trap, an excuse to procrastinate. Because if you only work when you feel like it, you'll never be consistent. And without consistency, there's no progress. It's easy to be motivated when everything is going well, when you're seeing results, when the excitement is fresh. But what about when the novelty wears off? What about when the work gets hard, when the progress slows down, when life throws obstacles in your way? That's when it really counts. That's when you need to push through, even if you don't feel like it. Because those are the moments that separate the successful from the unsuccessful. Anyone can work hard when they're motivated, but it takes real strength to keep going when the motivation is gone. Feelings are fleeting. They come and go, influenced by your mood, your environment, your energy levels. But if you let your feelings control your actions, you'll be inconsistent at best. One day you're all in, the next day you're slacking off. That's not how success works. Success requires showing up day after day, putting in the work even when it's the last thing you want to do. It's about making a commitment to yourself and sticking to it no matter how you feel in the moment. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't always feel like doing it, but you do it anyway because it's a habit, it's part of your routine, and you know the consequences of skipping it. The same principle applies to your goals. You don't have to feel like working out, studying, practicing, or grinding every day. You just have to do it because you're committed to the outcome. The process might not always be enjoyable, but the results are worth it. And those results don't come from sporadic bursts of motivation. They come from consistent action, day in and day out. When you remove the need to feel motivated before taking action, you free yourself from the ups and downs of your emotions. You stop waiting for the right time or the right mood and start focusing on what needs to be done. You take control of your actions instead of letting your feelings control you. And that's where real progress happens. Because the truth is, the more you act despite how you feel, the stronger your discipline becomes. You build mental toughness, resilience, and the ability to push through discomfort. And over time, that discipline becomes a habit, and the habit leads to success. It's not about being perfect. It's not about always feeling excited or driven. It's about being consistent, about showing up and doing the work, even on the days when you'd rather do anything else. Those days are the ones that matter most. Because if you can push through when it's hard, when you're tired, when you're unmotivated, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses. You build confidence in your ability to overcome obstacles, to stay committed even when it's tough. And that confidence spills over into every area of your life. There will always be distractions, temptations, and reasons to skip the work. Life will throw curveballs. You'll have bad days, low energy, moments of doubt, but those are the times when you need to double down on your commitment. You can't let temporary feelings derail your long-term goals. You have to keep your eyes on the bigger picture, on the reasons you started in the first place. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how you felt. It's about what you did. Your actions are what determine your results, not your emotion. The more you practice taking action, regardless of how you feel, the easier it becomes. You start to build momentum. Each time you push through resistance, you reinforce the habit of discipline. And that momentum carries you forward, even on the toughest days. You start to realize that you don't need to feel like it to make progress. You just need to start. Because once you start, the motivation often follows. Action creates momentum, and momentum fuels motivation. But waiting for motivation to strike before you act, that's a recipe for inconsistency and stalled progress. You have to learn to separate your feelings from your actions. Your feelings are valid, they're part of being human, but they don't have to dictate your behavior. You can acknowledge that you're tired, frustrated, or unmotivated, and still choose to act. That's the essence of discipline. Doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. And the more you practice that, the stronger you become. There's power in pushing through resistance. Every time you act despite not feeling like it, you're proving to yourself that you're in control. You're building mental toughness, resilience, and the ability to overcome obstacles. And that's what success requires. Because the path to your goals won't always be smooth or easy. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments when you want to quit. But if you've trained yourself to act regardless of how you feel, you'll have the strength to keep going. It's important to have a clear vision of why you're doing what you're doing. When you're clear on your goals and the reasons behind them, it's easier to stay committed even when motivation is low. Your why becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded when your feelings try to pull you off course. So when you don't feel like it, remind yourself why you started. Think about the bigger picture, the long-term goals you're working towards. Because in the end, it's not about how you felt in the moment. It's about whether you showed up and did the work. You'll never regret the days you pushed through and got the work done, even when you didn't feel like it. But you will regret the days you let your feelings win. The days you skipped the work because you weren't motivated. Those missed opportunities add up over time. But so do the small wins, the consistent actions, the disciplined choices. Every time you act despite not feeling like it, you're stacking up those wins. And over time, those wins lead to results, to progress, to success. You don't have to feel like it. You just have to do it. Because success isn't about being in the mood or feeling inspired. It's about showing up, doing the work, and staying committed no matter how you feel. That's the mindset that separates those who achieve their goals from those who just dream about them. It's not about waiting for motivation. It's about creating it through action. And once you embrace that, there's nothing that can stop you. Success is not owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. That's the mindset you need to carry with you if you're serious about reaching your goals. Too many people think that once they've achieved a certain milestone, they can relax, take it easy, and coast on their past achievements. But success doesn't work that way. It's not a one-time payment, it's a daily commitment. Every single day, you have to show up, put in the work, and pay the rent, because the moment you stop, the moment you get comfortable is the moment you start to fall behind. Success isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's not something you achieve once and then it's yours forever. It requires constant effort, discipline, and dedication. Just because you had a good day yesterday doesn't mean you can slack off today. Just because you reached a goal doesn't mean the work is done. Every day is a new opportunity to prove to yourself that you're worthy of the success you're chasing. Every day is a chance to pay that rent again and again. And if you're not willing to do that, someone else will. Because there's always someone out there who's hungry, who's grinding, who's ready to outwork you the moment you take your foot off the gas. You've got to understand that success is temporary if you don't maintain it. Think about athletes who win championships. They don't stop training after they win a title. They don't sit back and say, I made it. No, they get back in the gym, they watch the film, they study their competition, and they keep pushing themselves because they know that if they don't, someone else will take their place. The same applies to every area of life, whether it's your career, your fitness, your relationships, or your personal growth. You can't afford to get complacent. You've got to keep paying the rent every single day. The rent isn't just about hard work, it's about consistency. It's easy to go hard for a week, a month, maybe even a year, but can you sustain it? Can you show up day after day, even when you're tired, even when you're not seeing immediate results? That's what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. It's not about how hard you can go for a short period, it's about how consistently you can show up over the long haul. Because success isn't given to those who work hard once in a while. It's earned by those who work hard all the time. Think about it like this. If you stop paying rent on your apartment, what happens? You get evicted. It doesn't matter how long you've been living there or how much you've paid in the past. If you stop paying, you lose your spot. The same is true for success. It doesn't matter how much you've achieved in the past. If you stop putting in the effort, you'll lose it. You've got to keep investing in yourself. Keep pushing your limits. Keep striving for more. Because the rent is due every single day, and you can't afford to miss a payment. The problem is, a lot of people think they can coast on their past achievements. They hit a goal, they get a promotion, they lose some weight, and they think they've made it. But success isn't about reaching one milestone. It's about maintaining and building on those milestones. It's about setting new goals, pushing new boundaries, and constantly striving to be better. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you start to decline. Because success isn't static, it's dynamic. It requires constant movement, constant growth, constant effort. And here's the thing, paying the rent doesn't always feel good. There will be days when you're exhausted, when you don't see the results you want, when you question whether it's all worth it. But that's when it matters most. That's when you have to dig deep, find your why, and keep going. Because it's easy to stay motivated when everything is going well. But can you stay committed when it's tough? And you keep paying the rent when it feels like you're not getting anything in return. That's the real test of discipline and dedication. Success is rented, not owned, because it's not about what you've done, it's about what you're doing right now. It's about the choices you make today, the effort you put in today, the work you're willing to do right now. You can't rely on yesterday's achievements to carry you through today's challenges. You've got to earn it all over again every single day. And if you're not willing to do that, you'll lose the success you've worked so hard to achieve. It's not just about working hard when you feel like it. It's about building habits, routines, and systems that keep you on track even when motivation is low. It's about creating a lifestyle of discipline and commitment where paying the rent becomes second nature. Because the truth is, motivation will come and go, but discipline will carry you through. Discipline is what keeps you consistent, what keeps you showing up, what keeps you paying the rent day after day. You've got to fall in love with the process, not just the results. Because the results will come and go, but the process is what keeps you moving forward. When you focus on the daily grind, on the small steps you take every day, you build momentum, and that momentum compounds over time, leading to bigger and better results. But if you're only focused on the end goal, you'll struggle to stay consistent when things get tough. You gotta embrace the grind, the hard work, the daily effort. That's where success is truly built. It's also important to remember that the rent isn't just paid in big, dramatic efforts. It's paid in the small, consistent actions you take every day. It's paid in the early mornings, the late nights, the extra reps, the difficult conversations, the sacrifices you make when no one is watching. Success isn't about one big moment. It's about a series of small moments strung together over time. And each of those moments is an opportunity to pay the rent, to invest in your growth, to move closer to your goals. There will be times when you feel like the rent is too high, when the effort feels overwhelming, when you question whether it's worth it. But that's when you've got to remind yourself why you started. You've got to remember the vision you had, the goals you set, the dreams you're chasing, because success isn't just about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about who you become in the process, about the strength, resilience, and discipline you build along the way. You don't get to own success. You don't get to sit back and relax thinking you've made it. Every day is a new challenge, a new opportunity to prove to yourself that you're worthy of the success you're chasing. And if you're not willing to put in the work, to pay the rent, to stay committed, you'll lose it. Because success isn't permanent, it's rented, and the rent is due every single day.